How you doing? In this video, we're going to be talking about the brush and the brush settings panel. Come on. Now the brush and the brush settings panel is located up on the window, go down and find brush settings. You can either of this is fine. Okay, I'm going to explain both of them, but you can still pick just one of them and you will get both of them, right? See, brushes and brush settings, right? Right, now let's go ahead and pick a brush, a brush tool, just to start working on it, and go and create a layer on our layers panel, right? Right. So now let me start explaining everything that's going on here, right? Over here is the brush tips, right? This is how the brushes look like. This is like one click, one tap. For example, if I tap once, click once, this is how it looks like. This is the preview right here, okay? You can select any of these ones. It's kind of like selecting a brush per se, right? Yes. Remember this one that I made? Remember this one? Yes, there's a whole video where I make a brush out of anything. See what I'm saying? Yeah, so go ahead and watch that video. Go ahead and click up there in that pop-up banner up there, and you'll see that video, right? So I created this brush over here. Right. Let me pick a color that's accepting. Let me pick a color that's kind of, yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter. Right, so this is it right here, and over here is the size of the brush. Okay, you can put here manually, or you can just use the slider to slide it however you want, right? And when you're done and you feel like this size is a little too small, you can come up here and reset everything, and it's gonna go back to how it was before. Right. Over here you can flip the brush axis, or you can flip it in Y's, right? If you see how it looks like now, right? Okay. Now if I flip it in axis, this is how it's gonna look like. If I flip it in axis and Y's, sorry, this is how it's gonna look like. And if I flip it in Y and axis, okay, this is how it's gonna look like. So this is X and Y axis, right? Remove this, and over here is the angle. You can put it manually over here, put a number, or you can just come over here and click here and drag, and you can turn the brush however you want. You see that? Turn the brush however you please. Right. Over here is the roundness, right? Now for this example, I'm gonna pick a round brush again. Now see, when I click, this is how it looks like. I'm gonna make it bigger just so you see what's going on, right? Right. Come over here and I make the roundness 50%. And see, the roundness is not going to be very round, it's going to be oval, right? If I keep going to like 20%, it's going to be even more and more squish like that, right? Right. Now, what if you say, but I don't want it to look like this, I want it to look like that, like I want it to, to be, simple. Come to the angles and make the angles like that, right? Is that 90 degrees? Yes, so just come over here and say 90 degrees. You see, 90 degrees. Okay, click enter, and now you have your squish, in a different way. Right. Put 100% back in. Over here is the hardness, right? How hard? Pay attention to this preview here. Okay, this is a preview, right? When I reduce, see, the more I reduce, when I reduce the brush, you see the feathering of the brush becomes blur, right? Yes, let's say 50%, you see the brush is like that. And if you do like 0%, the brush is like that, right? Right, do 100% or more, the brush is harder like that, right? Right. Down here is the spacing, right? Now, if you want the spacing, you're gonna toggle this on. If you don't want the spacing, you're gonna untoggle this, right? And the brush would behave as its or rather as it was intended or created, right? Right, Control Z, remove everything here, right? Right, make the brush smaller like that, like that, like that. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. So right now, this is how it behaves because this is how it's intended. But if you wanna do the spacings, if you do, right now is at 5, I'm gonna do 0 or 1, it's 1 actually. And you see everything is just connected, right? And I'm gonna do random click 63, and you see the spacing of the brush tips. 1, I don't know, let's do 122, and you see also the differences, right? I think you get the whole idea, and the more you put spaces, the more spaces you're gonna have. You see that? Right, let me bring it back to where it was. 5, that's fine. In fact, I'm happy with 1. I'm happy with 1. Okay, yes. Now over here is the preview. Of course, this is, you get the preview before you even start clicking here like I do. You can see everything here, right? Before you even start using the brush, right? Over here, you create a new brush, right? Now over here is the brush. This is this one right here. Okay, you click here, you go to this panel, right? So it's the button to the brushes panel, right? So if I click here, I come here. You see that? Come up back here, click here, and I come back here. You see the same thing, right? Right. In fact, in the next video, I'll be talking about all of this in depth. Okay, just going to each and every one of them, talking about them, and seeing everything they do. Okay, right now I cannot do that. Like, it's gonna be very stupid of me to try explaining this in the same video. No. So what I can do though is just to tell you what's going on here, right? Right, now over here is the, as you can see, it says brush tip shape. The behavior of the brush tip shapes. Okay, the behavior of the brush tip shapes, right? You have all kinds of options. You have dynamic, shape dynamic, you have scattering, you have all those kind of things. Okay, let me Control Z and remove everything here, right? Dynamics and all those kind of things. For example, let me just remove all this and maybe leave one. Which one? Let me leave scattering like this, right? And let me reduce the shape size here, right? Okay, and then scattering. Now, see now, I'm sorry. Let me create a new layer. Okay, right. See now when I draw like that with the shape, with the with the brush, right? And then I do counts. Maybe pick the 8, and then scatter like that. Okay, check this out. Now when you see scattering, right? Reduce the counts. Okay, and then reduce the or rather add the scattering. All right, just adjust this. You know, it's a lot of, it's the same brush, okay, but it has some scattering in it. Okay, right. So I'm gonna be explaining all of this in a separate video. Okay, yes, in a separate video. Right, it's a lot to explain. So I gotta really go deep in these things, like so, right? But then you can toggle this on if you want the effect to be well effective, and you can click here, okay, in the middle or in the word like this to have the settings, and you can lock it. Click the brush, you come to the brush panel, right? The brush panel is very simple. This is just where you select your brushes, right? Over here again, you can play with the size of the brush, okay? The brush, you see the brush, okay? Remember, this is the size of it, okay? I'm doing this just to, because there's another sizing, that you're gonna see, right? Great, Control Z to remove everything. Right, this is the size of the brush. Again, you can put it manually here. And over here, you just revert back to the brush settings panel. It's kind of like this button, right? Click here, you go here, click here, you go here. Right. Over here, you can search the brush if you know it by name. You can search it and you'll find it. And over here is the previous brush strokes you've been using. Okay, the previous brush strokes you've been using. You're gonna see them here, right? Right, over here is the brushes. They are arranged into groups, right? You see here, you can close the group, open the group like this, and you can go ahead and pick your brush like so, right? They come in previews and in names, right? This is the group name and this is the preview of the brush, right? The preview is in stroke, full stroke, and here's the name of it. Right, now down here is the size of this displays here, right? For example, if I make this bigger, you see the previews are getting even larger and larger like that, right? So if you are this type of a person, you would, again, size it up bigger. But I like seeing everything small in bulk. So I'm gonna do even smaller and smaller and smaller, like that, right? Yes. Over here, you can create your own group. See, there are groups here. You can, if you wanna create your own group like this, you can click here and create your own group. Give it a name, click OK, and then over here you can again create a brush, okay? And over here you can delete a brush, okay? Yeah, so if you click here, you can click a brush that you want and come over here and click, you're gonna delete it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was helpful, I know. Now, in the next video, I'll be talking about, again, I promised you, right? To show you every effect here, right? So go ahead and check out that video. And right now, take this video, share it, like it, love it, put a comment down below, and I will see you in a scroll.